Hey guys, it's Max Convexity. Hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to review and see how the week went on Max's two-step, which is just a paper trading statistical arbitrage system. Some of my people have been enjoying it, I believe. In any event, let's look here at my spreadsheet. All right, what it is, it's a pairs trading system with options. And this is just paper trading. Don't do this with your own money, but this is what happened this week. So we run 4 long volatility trades every week and 4 shorts. And last week we had a short volatility trade of Meta. You can see it killed its tune at $552. Let me see if we still have that up. Yes, it is still up. Watch this. Okay, we didn't miss it by. Okay, well, okay. The short strikes have expired this weekend. They already expired. We sold that one for 51, or we sold it for 21. We had to buy it back for 51. We sold this one for 21. We bought it back for 0. So we didn't do that bad. But when you subtract out what made and lost on these other ones, losing on this one cost $22 and is now worth 33 cents. The position itself was a $500 loser. We also had a loser on a Tesla short volatility. It looked like it was going to be a winner initially. Tesla moved up, but not too far the first day, but then the second day moved further. Anyway, that ended up being a $128 loss. The good news is the Ford had a short volatility trade that was a $170 winner. Like I say, the short options have expired, but they expired in a way that if I don't do anything, they just expire. Obviously, if this is real money, I would have sold them right before the end of the day, or that's how they deal with that. But in any event, these expired in such a circumstance that I could hold on to this straddle that I have, and there's no way you can lose. I made enough on these. Sold that one for 44, covered it for 22. Sold that one for 39, covered it for 0. So I made enough on those on the short part to make the long part free. And that's your dream. That's what I'm talking about reward with no risk. I'm trying to develop a trading strategy that can make a profile like this by using complementary strategies, a short and a long in different places. In any event, though, that's really impressive there. So it wasn't a great week for short volatility. The Ford one was a $170 winner, and believe it or not, the Microsoft one eked out a gain. And you can't see it because the options expired. But when at 3 o'clock, whenever they went out of business, instead of the way they deal with it is they just do like a cash settlement. And these aren't cash settled. In real life, you would get exercised and assigned out the wazoo. But you can't. But when I'm just simulating the trades, I just play it from close to close. So in any event, I'm closing that trade. So I'm going to close all of these trades because they're all closed. I mean, they're all closed, and I've closed them for accounting purposes. So for the week, down 343, but still last week lost 100, but after the first week's $1,400 winner, what happened the first week? Well, our long volatility trades, we had a boost in volatility. Something happened, and a lot of them made money. In any event, and that hasn't really happened. This past week is more typical. We had some good long volatility winners, Netflix, and had some short volatility winners. And ideally, you want these to offset these. And the reason I was talking about Jay's when he said, the way Tress is going to work is it's going to be, it's not going to be great for a while and then it'll make a lot of money. That's similar on this strategy. If this strategy can just break even and go back and forth, but there's going to be some weeks when there's going to be at least 1 or 2 weeks out of the year during the earnings season when the market goes crazy and all of these long volatility trades are going to make several $1,000s. And I think lots of return from the year on the system is going to come from those 1 or 2 weeks. But the idea of the system is to do the long volatility and the short volatility together, use the short volatility to pay for the long volatility so you can afford to be long year round without bleeding to death, like I'm always obsessed with. So that's my way of dealing with it. I mean, that's my idea for it, but there's lots of guys out there, Charles being one of them, who has really good ways to do this. And I know there's better ways out there. This is just the way that I'm trying to solve it. Anyway, yeah, and I'm gonna get like some I'm gonna stop using Tasty Trade. I'm gonna narrow this down and I'm gonna professionally back test it with something like I forget the name of the software. There's good software that professionals use that's way better than Tasty Trade, and I'm gonna test some of these ideas out and make some videos over on that. But for now, we're just seeing how they work in real time. I think it's fun to look at these every day. So look at this. So for next week, here's what we got to do. I need 2 things. I need a long for next Thursday. I know PayPal at some point next week has an earnings announcement. So so I don't even have to look and waste your time. I'm just going to hit PayPal, and we want to make the earnings go the 10th and the 17th, right? That's always what I start with at a base is some type of option some type of strategy where you have options that expire the week of earnings. So you're short those options. Well, no, actually I take that back. The computer had it right the first time. We want to be short the week of the 3rd because that's this coming week, and that's when PayPal's announcement is. I've mentioned before that a trade to trade could be like a de facto, or one of these trades can be kind of like a de facto iron condor. Well, I'm talking about kind of one of these types of patterns. This is, it's a similar payoff. It's kind of, it's a similar type risk and reward and a similar type structure, in my opinion, than iron condor, even though it's a calendar. You just kind of calendarize a condor. In any event, we need a long volatility trade. The way I usually do it is I sell the straddle. I've always done it this way, but then when I saw that Jay does it this way too, through Tress, you sell the straddle to buy the strangle, but you just buy the strangle twice. We got the 65 put, the 68 call, bought twice. Okay. So that puts us in a position where we really can't lose that much. Not from any type of market. If the market moves way up or way down, we can't lose. We can lose from time passing, and we can lose from volatility collapsing. The idea with this trade is PayPal has earnings. So of all stocks that shouldn't have volatility collapse, this should be the 1 week it's safe to do this. So on PayPal, the week of earnings, especially the days leading into it. Hopefully people will YOLO into it and the vol will get even higher. And remember, we just keep step 1 on until right before earnings. We don't take this through the earnings trade. I think their earnings is Wednesday. So let's say it's Wednesday afternoon. We take this trade off Wednesday, 5 minutes before the close. Hopefully by then volatility has gone up, and no matter where this trade goes, it's a winner. That's kind of what we're playing for. But the other thing we're playing for is if PayPal hits the news for some reason and drops and starts running into earnings. Some of these stocks drop 10% before earnings for whatever reason, because people start, anyway, if that happens, we're also in good shape. Okay, so that's a step 1 for next week. So now we have 4 step 1s. We have Apple, we have AMD, we have PayPal, and we have another one. I forget who. So now we need a step 2 to offset that. We don't have any step 2s, and we don't want to be short volatility over the weekend. Nothing good happens over the weekend. No reason to be. But the way I'm simulating this was we make a trade at the close on Friday, And we do want to be short coming into Monday, at least have one short hedge. So the first thing I would do is I would go to this channel right here, the earnings calendar, and there's a lot of good stocks with earnings. Okay, so Monday after the close, of course, we could put this trade on Monday. We don't have to put this on now. I wanted to show you guys a short volatility trade. Here's Monday morning, so we'll do it just for. What about SoFi or Domino's? Let's look over here. I want to show you guys how easy it is to do a step 2 trade. So we'll just go SoFi Technologies. I don't think this is very expensive. Yeah. All right, let's do Domino's Pizza. That one's probably too cheap to do what I was thinking on. Okay, Domino's, then I go build. I start with the double diagonal all the time. That for when I'm doing an earnings strategy, and especially this one, that's your base case right there. And sometimes the one they give you has a really attractive looking. I mean, that's not so bad. That would probably make a nice earnings trade. What I do is I bring it in like this. Usually. Well, sometimes I just do like this. Sometimes it's just best to do like this. I know that doesn't look great, but watch this. I don't know. I don't really like the looks of that one. So I don't do one if I don't like the risk reward. This one, if we did this one, it looks like it could go down 2% or up 3%. That's what's so good about this, about having modern software. It used to just kind of wonder this stuff. Even if you did one kind of more spread out, like they were suggesting, I didn't see a risk reward. I mean, if you get a blowout bad number, which can happen, down $1,100. Now here's one that's all right. This is probably what we'll do. So if it goes nowhere, you make $388. If it goes down but doesn't go down more than 2.8%, you break even. And it can go up and you can make money. I don't really love this one though. Maybe like this. Maybe bring like that. Okay. All right, so this is going to be our trade here. I call this the consolation trade. This is still a short volatility trade because it makes money off going nowhere. This is the consolation price trade. But anyway, we'll put that on for step 2. I use these all the time, but still it's a straddle strangle swap. I just I change the relationship by changing the distance of some of the wings. It just makes it have a different credit or debit, on the whole thing, which gives it a different profile, but it's still step 2. Like I say, there's a jillion ways to do short volatility earnings trades. I always say I really like the way ULTY is doing it. It's just a pure way to do it. They're just selling a covered call on an earnings stock the week it has earnings, and just harvesting that higher implied vol. That's probably a better way to do it, but my way's more fun. Anyway, so we have these trades in here. We have them saved. We have saved trades. We also have the trust trade in here saved. Now that they had some options expire, I'll put their newest trade in before my Sunday update, and we'll look at the trust position. But in any event, the rest of these are the paper trading, and we'll also keep track of them here. But 4.7 is not bad so far, but percent. But it's only 3 weeks, so we'll see. I haven't had a really bad week, and I did get this week, week 1, I was really I could not lose on those long volatility ones. And it wasn't because the market was moving or anything. Because remember, I take these off before the earnings announcement, so it's not like these guys had a big earnings announcement and moved, and I monetize it that way. No, they moved, they either ran into earnings or else the stocks ran into earnings and volatility went up into earnings. So anyway, hopefully we'll get another week like that again soon. And weeks 2 and 3 were more typical with other times I've tested this. So we'll see how it goes. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let me know. There's a jillion and one ways to do this. Probably a lot simpler and better ways to do some of these trades. You know, I mean, that's not a bad looking payout. I mean, that's not a bad looking risk reward. You know, but there's that's probably a lot of legs for. You could probably just do maybe like a broken wing butterfly on it and have the same effect. I do like, and we're going to talk about this more in the future, about putting it where it's still a short volatility trade, where you monetize the market for going nowhere or going not very far. But at the same time, you have no risk to one side. You either have to pick the downside or the upside where you want no risk. And that's why I call it the consolation prize. If these guys blow out earnings, you know, you only make $100, but at least you don't lose money. It sucks when you do a short volatility trade. The company does something badass. Everyone's excited about it and going, it's the best quarter ever. And your short volatility, your strikes have got blown out and you're pissed. Happened to me all the time. All right, guys. Thanks a million. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'll be back with more videos probably on Monday. This is probably my last video of the week. All right, guys. Have a good one.